Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube. How's everyone doing today? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode number 978. Yes, that's episode number 978 of Navigating the Modern World with Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition. Live once again today from Red Morton Park. I was just able to get out here. It has been a busy day today, but all is great. All is fantastic. And the sun's going to be setting in about 15 minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I may be walking the second or third lap in the dark, but hey, better late than never, right? It's better than not taking a walk at all, right? Yeah. Today, I'm going to be talking about, how much I love helping people overcome setbacks. I'm also going to be asking you folks here in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, what are you struggling with? Right? What are you struggling with? I love helping people overcome setbacks. What are you struggling with? So, while we wait for some more people to pop on in, couple of reminders here. If you weren't here yesterday, when I announced that this week on the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast, Don and I are going to be having a very special guest, Hot Facts with Robert Reese, and possibly even his wife Amelia join us. Possibly. She's more than welcome to join us, but we're going to definitely have Hot Facts with Robert Reese on the show. And it should be quite interesting, I'll tell you. Robert is an experienced YouTuber, and he has quite some stories to share. We're going to share the story how we met. We're going to talk more about some things that have been happening throughout his community on YouTube. Some interesting things. And maybe a few surprises. So that's going to be recorded over the weekend at some point, and then will be released this Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on the other channel, GNA Genuine Personal Development. Link is below in the description. Make sure you subscribe, bang the bell, and select the notifications so you don't miss anything. Yeah. Yeah. Don and I are really looking forward to that. We are absolutely looking forward to that. We are. Whoosh whoosh. Hey Eli, I'm listening to you from the garage. I'm about to break the new Android car stereo into a million pieces. I can't figure out how to install it. Well, I wish you the best of luck, my friend. I hope you figure it out. I remember those days, stereo, right? Had detachable faces, right? But nowadays, all the new cars have premium stereo system standard, so I haven't had to deal with installing the car stereo in a while. But I remember those days. I've installed a few car stereos in my younger days. It can be fun. You got to know how to, cut holes and, screw on speakers, add speaker wire, hide the wire, right? Connect the electrical and all that. So I wish you the best of luck, my friend. Absolutely. I want navigation, a backup camera, and Bluetooth for my phone. Oh, so you're trying to install a full system like that in your car? Yeah, I don't even know if I would attempt that. That's that's pretty crazy. That does come standard with most cars, actually with all cars nowadays, because I believe since 2016, it became, I believe, the law that reverse cameras are standard. So if they have to put in a screen for that, they can automatically just, add Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and also Bluetooth and all that stuff. So yeah, that's cool, man. Awesome, man. Great to hear that. Great to hear that. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So besides that, um, not a whole lot going on. Um, Not a whole lot going on the content front of things. Uh, Don and I had a busy day around the house today. We're doing some more cleaning and rearranging, and always just looking to improve things even around the house. So um, that kept me pretty busy. I almost was thinking about just not even walking because I got enough exercise moving around, but I'm like, I got to go walk. I got to get my walk in. I like pushing myself. I love pushing myself. So anyway, this might not be the most interesting topic for people, um, but it is something very meaningful to me. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because let's see what is Whoosh Whoosh saying. If I move to Thailand, I'll never have to clean again. Bonus. Maybe so, bro. Maybe so. Yeah. Whoosh Whoosh, I'm a very well domesticated man. And I have no problem doing anything that was once only known as something that a woman would do. I cook, I clean, vacuum, do laundry, do the dishes, all that stuff. Wipe down counters, etc. But yeah, to each its own, right? That's the way it goes. But yeah, the one thing that has always meant more to me throughout my entire life, since I was even younger in grammar school and throughout high school, is that I love helping people. I love helping people overcome setbacks. And I've always had a soft spot for the underdog. Okay, I've always, um, I've always been the kind of person that wants to help people that most other people probably wouldn't want to help. Not because they don't need help, because most people are just looking to better themselves, and they may not have it in them to help people at the level that I enjoy doing it at. And that's not listen, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not saying that most people aren't empathetic. I believe most people are empathetic, but some people like myself, it's always been in my heart and soul to be there for people in a time of need, to help people that are struggling when no one else wants to help them, right? Or if other people have, beat down other people. And I don't mean beat down physically, I mean beat down mentally, emotionally, right? And we all go through that. I've always been the first one there. And it never mattered how busy I was. It didn't matter what was going on, right? I've always wanted to lend a helping hand to people that really need it the most, right? And while I share more of this this backstory of what made me this way, right? If you want to share your stories with me, again, either while you're here live or on the replay through the comment section, please share. What are you struggling with? And Paul and I will get back to you as soon as possible, if it's on the replay in the comment section, and share our thoughts. And hopefully, the advice that we give you will give you a little kick, will give you a little extra motivation and inspiration, and will also give you a boost in your self-confidence, because we all know that everyone is worth it. You're all worth it, right? We know some people are struggling with their self-worth, and we get it because everyone struggled with their self-worth, including myself in my younger days, including Dawn in her younger days. And even as you get older and you build your confidence, even if you're really confident, you're going to have your moments of where sometimes you're going to have some self-doubt. That is normal, right? Even when that happens to me, I just say, okay, fuck it. It is what it is. You can't control, you can't control what other people, say or do in life, right? You just have to do the best you can with what you've got. And you're going to be knocked down at times, and you just got to keep rolling with the punches. That's just the way it goes, right? That's just the way it goes. But yeah, when you enjoy helping people at the level that I do, it gives you joy to help people. It does come at a price. You end up sacrificing, things to be that type of person. But if that's who you are, and that's exactly who I am, you shouldn't change who you are or who you're meant to be. Because, there are going to be some setbacks every now and then, right? And some people, may even question you and say, you're focusing too much time on helping other people or trying to help other people, but not as much time on yourself. Guilty as charged. That's me, right? But I'll tell you what, sometimes even sacrificing myself for the better good of others allows me to sleep better at night. It really does. And, in my life, I've made lots of mistakes in life. We all have, right? And I made lots of mistakes that I'm not too proud of, and I'm sure. Oh man, really? 8-year-old kids. Oh God, just keep on biking. It is what it is, man. It's just part of the game, It's all part of the game. Just got to keep on trucking, right? Keep on walking. But yeah, give me just a second here. I've always been the type of person that makes sacrifices for other people. I just feel that's what my calling has always been, right? And my entire life, I've been questioned on, man, you're too nice to people, or, you're just devoting too much time to try to save other people, all right? That's what makes me feel good. Like I said, that's what allows me to lay my head down at night and sleep peacefully, right? That's also what my purpose is. And I believe in, first of all, I believe in myself, and I believe in my purpose. And despite all the challenges we have in the modern world, I do believe in humanity and the future of humanity. We've got a lot of issues in this world right now that we're dealing with, even with the new administration. Now, I'm not going to get into a political spiel today, but there are issues there, right? There are also issues outside of the political spectrum. And sometimes, when we get up in the morning, we feel like we're waking up to another day of chaos, right? But you don't have to look at it that way, right? There may be some truth to that, hey, yeah, we're waking up to chaos, right? On certain days, some days are more chaotic than others, right? But you have a couple options. You can sit there and, allow it to bring you down and to affect you from functioning to continue doing what you're doing, right? Whatever that may be. In my case, my purpose is doing, personal development, right? In your case, your purpose could be something else, whatever it may be, right? Or it could just be your regular day job or whatever job you have, right? If you wake up and you let the chaos get to you, it's going to affect you from thinking clearly and functioning properly to, tackle all the chaos and push it out of the way and clear the lane to continue moving forward, right? And, that's how I've handled things as I've gotten older. I didn't always handle things like that in the past. I didn't handle things, like I said, in this way in the past. I don't expect people that are new to personal development, or especially if you're younger and you're less experienced, I don't expect less experienced people to handle it that way and to understand that. You've got to go through the process, and you're going to go through the ringer. You're going to go through the ringer at times, several times, before you learn how to just be able to brush off the chaos, right? I'm really hearing some thunderous bass. My God. Wow. I can hear that clear across the park over here. Well, thank you so much to the 22 people that are here right now. We greatly appreciate you. It's a beautiful night, actually. It's about 59 degrees. Don't have the gloves on, but I'm layered up. The air is just really nice and fresh. You too. I was delayed reaction. He said, "Have a good night, boss," and it took me like 2 seconds to process that. I was like, "Oh, yeah," he was talking to me. It's like, "Oh, okay, cool, nice guy." I realized it when he walked on by, and I'm like, man, I didn't intentionally ignore him. It just didn't process. I'm trying to. When I'm in a deep thought, it takes me longer to process my surroundings because I'm walking with purpose in the park, and there are people around. He was a nice guy. I'm like, I better say, hey, you too. I just said you too. And he waved. He was cool. That's the kind of person I've always been about. You see good people, like, when I used to walk the hiking trails, you see people on the hiking trail and you say, have a great day. You just say hello. You don't know who they are. They don't know who you are, but you have something in common. You care about your health. You love nature. And you're just getting away from it all for the day, right? Being out in the woods, right? All the beauty and stuff, right? And I'll tell you, you meet some of the nicest people on hiking trails. And you even meet some of the nicest people at the park. Now, you're also going to have the young kids that are, immature. And, I mean, I was young once too. I did stupid shit too. We all have, right? So you gotta be understanding to that. And that's why, it's like, I try to keep them off camera. So, I don't want to get them on camera because they're younger kids and there are rules about that. But, if they just happen to be walking on by, what else can you do? You just, whatever, cool, right on, have a good day, right? Oh, man. I look forward to getting back home and spending some time with my lady and the dogs, eating some dinner, and just relaxing, looking forward to that interview with Hot Facts with Robert Reese. That's going to be wonderful. That's going to be great. And I believe that him and I are going to be doing some shows together on his channel. So make sure you subscribe to the Hot Facts with Robert Reese channel. Just type in Hot Facts with Robert Reese in the YouTube search bar and you'll find his channel there. It'll come up at the top. There's no one else remotely close, with that channel name. When you have similar channel names as other people and you try to search for someone's channel name that like 30,000 other people have, that's going to be difficult to find. Robert's very simple, very unique. That's what I like about Robert. He's unique, just like us over here at the GNA. No one else has a similar name as we do, and he does. Oh, yeah. What a nice, relaxing night it is. You do all that stuff, you are truly a modern man. Oh, regarding the cooking and cleaning and all that? I'm going to be honest with you, whoosh whoosh. I am old-fashioned. I am old-fashioned like you. And, I do like the old-fashioned qualities of a lady, which Dawn does have, but I also like a blend of the modern woman as well that, can basically just be my equal partner. I think nowadays, the best thing is for the man and the woman to equally share in the household responsibilities. And if both people are able to work, equally share in the finances and all that. Now, if one side or the other side is the breadwinner, in some cases, that's okay. I know when it's been the woman that's the breadwinner, it's typically because the man has been struggling and, can't find a job or whatever, right? And, what I've noticed, hearing stories and knowing people that have been in that situation where the woman's the breadwinner and the man, isn't working for a while. Eventually, if the man doesn't turn it around, the woman is going to lose respect for him and leave. So I can understand in that sense, right? Women have risen up and they want to do everything that men only once did, or only men once did, right? But you got to balance it out. You got to balance it out. And if you truly love each other, even if the woman is the breadwinner for a while for a legitimate reason, and a good woman will stand by her man no matter what, and a good man will stand by her woman no matter what. And that's exactly the type of relationship that Dawn and I have. We stand by each other no matter what. And no matter, what comes our way in life, we find a way to figure it out. That's how life is. You just got to find a way to figure things out as they come along, right? And as you get older, you have more experience, so you learn how to deal with things better and more efficiently, right? But even when you're younger, you know, that's when you start to learn. That's when you start to learn the things that I've learned, the things that Don has learned. And, if anyone is struggling with any of this, come here and, you know, tell us a little bit more about what you're struggling with. And I'm more than sure we have a story, Don, myself, or someone throughout the GNA, and we can share that story and enlighten you and hopefully motivate you to work through whatever issue you're struggling with, right? Whatever's holding you back, right? A lot of times, the things that hold people back, or the thing that holds people back the most is fear, right? People have a lot of fear, right? And growing up, when I was younger, I had a lot of fear. Even when I was younger, like I had a severe fear of rejection from women, right? I had the fear of public speaking. I had, the fear of doing something wrong, getting caught and being punished by my parents, right? I had so many fears. And those fears carried on through my teenage years and into my early to mid 20s. And when I hit my mid 20s, those fears started to subside because I started to realize that, you know what? I'm holding myself back from my true potential, right? I'm holding myself back from enjoying life in the way it was meant to be enjoyed. All because I fear this stuff. So what if I ask a woman out and she says no? There's 5 or 10 more I can ask out. Eventually one will say yes, and it may work out. Eventually you figure that out as you go along. And then as your confidence increases, your fear decreases, right? Let me say that one more time. It's a great statement there, right? Right? As your confidence increases, your fear decreases, right? And I'll tell you, I had a lot of fears, and by the time I hit my early to mid 30s, by the time I hit my mid 30s, most of my fears were gone. I had done some public speaking, but not at the level I do it today, and I wasn't as good as I am today, even just 16 years ago. I had done some public speaking when I worked in the retail management and retail corporate world. And when I became self-employed, probably close to 16 years ago, and I was networking my business throughout other networking organizations, chambers of commerce, and also I started the GNA back then, the same organization that's here today. I got some people coming, so I'm going to come over here. I started doing more public speaking. I had to do more public speaking because all these groups would give each member a chance to do a presentation on their business, even a 20 to 30 minute presentation. And the first time I had to do that, I was shitting bricks. I was like, what the hell am I going to talk about? Right? Now, you hear me today and you say, Eli, you can't shut the fuck up. Okay? That's a truthful statement, right? But back then, being in front of my friends and people that I'd known for a while, I was still the same way. I couldn't shut the fuck up. But when it came to doing a big presentation in front of an audience that I just recently met or became a part of, right? That was really scary. I was shitting bricks. And I fucked up. First 2, 3, 4 presentations I did, I fucked up. But after doing this for about a year or so, I started to realize how much better I was getting just because I kept pushing through it, right? We all learn from our mistakes, and we all get better through learning from our mistakes, right? Now, that's the way things are. Now, some people in this world that continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again, obviously they're not learning from their mistakes. And, there are other issues these people may be struggling with. It could be, psychological issues. And in those situations, even before I was doing what I'm doing now, I would always tell people, hey, look, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but maybe you might need to talk to a therapist, have somebody help you work through this, because you don't want to live your life being constantly angry at everything because of a traumatic event, right? Give me a second here. Some people coming around. There's some people at the park, but it's not as busy tonight as it usually is. Maybe people are at home crying over Liberation Day being a complete failure. Now, I didn't get a chance to see where the stock market's closed today, but last I checked early in the afternoon, the Dow was down like another 1,400 points. Hey, Honky Tonk Man, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the show. Great to see you here. How's it going, man? Do you know what the Dow ended up closing at today, Honky Tonk Man? I mean, yesterday it was down almost 1,700 points. It was down about 1,400 when I checked last, unless it rallied, which I don't think so, because until Trump decides if these tariffs are going to stay in place next week, between now and then, you're going to see the market continue to drop. And I'm like, oh boy, this is when having mutual funds balances things out. But even then, you're taking a little bit of a hit. If you have high risk stock right now, you're taking a massive hit. Like, you're taking a massive hit to your retirement plans or any investment plans that you have. I pray for everyone. I pray that this all ends soon. 38,314. So how far down was it? Did it end up closing over 1,000 points down? Was it closer to 1,600 again? Like, what was the change of the Dow? I'm sure all down 2231. Holy shit. That's a massive crash, man. That's like the biggest crash in the longest time. They said the crash yesterday was the biggest one since 2020. And this one, God. I mean, this is a direct reflection of Trump in office. I mean, this is absolutely a direct reflection. If Trump did absolutely nothing after Biden left, if on January 20th Trump got into office and just went golfing every fucking day. See, Trump, you could have gone golfing every fucking day since you got into office and not done jack shit, and the economy would be a hell of a lot better than it is now. I sometimes I just wish Trump would go golfing at Mar-a-Lago every day. But then who would be running the country? It would be J.D. Vance. Oh, boy. You know what? I'm beginning to see some potential in J.D. Vance. If he can remove himself from Trump, like he used to not even like Trump, right? Remember that? Back in like 2016? He was trashing Trump. Now he's a VP. So I guess you get the opportunity of a lifetime and you quickly change your tune about someone, right? Trumper is acting like a POS. Oh, yeah, well, he's not acting like a POS. He is a POS, in my opinion. Wow, 2,200 points? Jesus Christ. God, Jesus Christ. Again, I feel really bad for the people that have their investment plans or their 401ks or their IRAs in 100% high risk stock. Man, I haven't invested high risk since like my 20s, like when I was working for Costco. Those are the days, like in your 20s, those are the days where you can just say, fuck it, I'm going all in on one or two stocks, right? Because you have time to overcome losses, right? As you get older, like in your 40s and early 50s, you got to diversify. You got to play it a little bit more safe. You know, unless you have billions like Musk and you can afford to take over $100 billion hit in a 2-month period or less than 2-month period and still be the richest man in the world. Can you fucking believe that, honky tonk man? This dude takes over $100 billion hit on his net worth in less than 2 months, and he's still the richest man in the world. Go fucking figure, man. Go figure. Tesla stock keeps crashing. You know, other EV manufacturers are starting to catch up and surpass Tesla. Man. And Elon Musk is probably thinking, shit, what did I get myself into? I thought this was going to make me the first trillionaire in the world, but shit. Or they're saying, oh, just wait, we're reinvesting in America. We're making America great again. We're building America better, and we're bringing back manufacturing to the U.S. And we're going to be the richest. We already technically are the richest country in the world, but everyone's going to benefit from it and do well. Well, when's that going to happen? That's not going to happen. That won't start coming back. That won't start coming back until after the 2028 elections and until January 2029, when I guarantee you the next president will be a Democrat. I mean, everyone that swung their vote to Trump this time around is going to swing back Democrat. They don't want to deal with this shit ever again. Highway robbery. They pumped and dumped the Trumper coin. I think covertly they may be billionaires. Well, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, Trump's probably laundering money. I mean, would you be surprised if he was? Yeah, that's what they did. You have an initial coin offering. I'm not the biggest fan of crypto, and I'm not as knowledgeable as I should be. I kind of understand how it works, but they had the initial coin offering, what's it called, the ICO, right? And then initially it just goes up. Everyone puts their money in, and then one person sells off the majority of their crypto, right? And so they just make a massive profit. And I think in crypto, the laws of crypto are different than the laws of securities. Like securities and annuities are highly regulated here in the U.S. Crypto has not caught up yet. But I'm sure it's all going to catch up, right? And you see Trump, like, he's got his email list, and every single day, he grifts his supporters. And it's just really sad. I've never seen any other president grift as much as Trump does, but hey, whatever. It is what it is, right? Nothing you can do about it. Go ahead. That dude's riding his bike around the park. These people are over here blaring bass at the park. Damn. Man, how are the neighbors not calling the cops on that? Like, there are neighbors over here? Wow. I'm just gonna go walk down the street. I mean, you got homes like right over here, right? And those kids are just blaring bass like there's no tomorrow, right? These people are probably trying to have dinner and family time on a Friday night. You got those teenagers with probably like 215s in the trunk that don't know how to seal their trunk. I remember those days when I had like 212s in my car. And I remember having the rattling trunk. The embarrassment is having the rattling trunk. You need to seal that off so the bass is clean, like doom, 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 not dun, 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 dun. Let's see, Honky Tonk Man says, any updates with Pedro's lawsuit? Are you going to cover that with Hot Facts? Yes, we're going to cover that. And yeah, I'm on Pedro's side. Like, Pedro's done nothing wrong. Like, all Pedro does is what I do. He does reaction videos at times. He talks about things, and then he gets sued for it, right? Like, it's such a frivolous lawsuit. He's being sued for $2 million over reading an article and sharing his opinions on it, right? It's not going to go anywhere. It's not. I mean, you know what the interesting thing is, Honky Tonk Man, is that, judges here in America, regardless of the state, regardless of their political party, are very big on the First Amendment. They're big on the Constitution. Their job, depends on them upholding the Constitution and the laws, right? So, in my opinion, and we'll talk more about it with Hot Facts, in my opinion, with Hot Facts with Robert Reese, I believe he's going to go the opposite route. I believe he thinks, and I'm not sure, but I believe he thinks Pedro is deserving what he's getting, and I don't think he is deserving what he's getting. And I just don't think it's going to go anywhere. But yeah, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Flex's situation, and I'm not even, I talked about this the other day on GLM show. I'm not even trying to bash Flex. Like, for me, my interest is safety for everyone. And what Flex did, driving reverse clear across the parking lot, is not safe. What if a little kid was in that parking lot, and because he was going reverse at about 10 to 12 miles an hour, which is too fast in reverse, you go reverse 1 to 2 to 3 miles per hour, to get out of a parking spot or a driveway, and that's it. Any more reversing than that is reckless driving, right? There are laws on that, but good thing nobody got hurt. I just don't think it's right that the USPS is going to have to. It's not right that the USPS has to, take the hit on this, right? So yeah, we'll be talking about those things. and some other stuff too. And yeah, also, I don't want to talk about it here or anymore at all, Honky Tonk Man. But if you haven't gone to my community wall and read my latest posting, I'd go and check it out because that's a topic I won't be talking about anymore. I just don't feel like it. And it has nothing to do with anything besides the fact that I just don't feel like it. I talk about whatever the fuck I want, whenever I want. It's my freedom of speech to do so, you know? So anyway, I think I'm going to go one more lap. It's a really, really nice night. Thumbs up with, or from Honky Tonk Man. Yeah, Tia had reached out to me behind the scenes earlier. She was going to make the show, but I started the show later than expected. Let me show you the front here real quick. Yeah, not only if you heard Honky Tonk Man yesterday or today, Hot Facts with Robert Reese is going to be our guest on the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast this week. We'll be recording the episode over the weekend, and it will be released this coming Wednesday on the other channel, the main channel. Links below in the description. G&A, Genuine Personal Development. Will be released at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on the main channel. And throughout the entire podcast network that we're on, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, my latest favorites, iHeartRadio, and many, many more, even ones that we don't even know by name, but they exist. And I've got a great podcast host outside of YouTube to host the audio-only version of the podcast. YouTube is hosting the video version separately. And it's all good. It's all good in the hood. It's all good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, I'll tell you that. Beautiful day. Summer's right around the corner. Don and I have a lot of great plans upcoming in the summer. Got some great plans for her birthday as well. Maybe we'll talk about that on the podcast this week or next week. But yeah, you know, I've always loved being there for the underdog and helping people break through barriers, motivating them and inspiring them to, you know, become the best version of themselves they can be, becoming more self-confident, right? Becoming more self-reliant, right? It's not the easiest thing to do because, you know, when people are set in their ways, you know, they don't want to listen to someone that has made all the mistakes and has figured out how to correct the mistakes. Hey Don, how you doing? Hey babe, how's it going? Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to do one more lap. It's getting a little bit dark, but it's all good. We're going to turn the front light on and we'll be all right. And I'll tell you, like I was saying earlier, overcoming objections, overcoming setbacks are never easy. Even being very experienced, it is easier, but it's not easy still, but it's easier. But especially when you're younger, just dealing with setbacks, it's just pretty crazy, It's just crazy, trying to figure out, what's going on with yourself internally and trying to, process what's happening and then correct it. And I'll tell you the turning point for me, a big turning point for me, and I haven't shared this story in a while, a big turning point for me was personal development. I've always, not always, I didn't like it when I was younger. I didn't like Tony Robbins. I thought he was a scam when I was younger. And then, when I turned, I think it was like 34 years old. It was 33, 34, around the time where I got my insurance licenses. And a few years after that, I was working for the broker I worked for many years. And I was learning how to sell commercial insurance through a broker, which is different when you're working for a single carrier like Farmers. Oh, wow. Wow. Just blessing people. Sig Dingo with the $6.99. Is that Canadian super chat? Thank you so much. Give you a heart. That's $4.92 American. Thank you so much for that super chat. Sig Dingo, is that right? Well, thank you so much for that. God bless you. God bless you. Every penny counts. Every penny counts. Wow, another one. Sid Dingo with another $6.99. Wow. Thank you so much again. It's a total of $9.84 American. Wow, thank you, brother. I think you're a brother, right? You're not a sister. But if you're a sister, please forgive me. Thank you very much for your 2 super chats. It's very kind of you. Very kind of you. God bless you. Whether you believe or not, God bless you anyway. But yeah, I just started, working for the broker as an independent contractor. A producer is what they call us, right? And I had to learn how to write commercial policies for multiple companies and learn how to use different forms. When you start off with like what they call a captive carrier. They call it like Farmers and State Farm and Allstate captive carriers. And when you're independent, you're an independent agent / broker. When you work for a broker that has appointments to transact business with many carriers, where you can find people the best possible coverage at the best possible price. So I had to learn how to do that. And one of the commercial office managers that was also licensed to sell commercial insurance, and he was the one that would, he was the one after we would all fill out the forms, he would place the applications and get quotes from the proper carriers based on the, based on the class code of the industry, right? I met this young guy. I think I was 34, 35, 36, and he was like, I think he was like 24. He actually opened up his own insurance office and was an affiliate of our company. We had an affiliate program. And so he drove up from San Diego to take the commercial insurance class, and I met this guy, and he's the guy that made me aware, hey Eli, have you seen the movie The Secret? I'm like, no, what the fuck's Secret? He's like, you're gonna want to watch it and watch it like 5 or 10 times. I'm like, shit, man, I barely have time to watch things one time. Trust me, it'll change your life. I actually really liked this guy. He was younger than me. I respected him. I still respect him to this day. And after watching The Secret, it really did make a huge difference in my life because it allowed me to realize how important personal development is. Because what they said in The Secret, there were many famous personal development experts and authors of books, etc., in the self-help industry. There was like 10 or 12 of them. And they all said the same thing. The secret is you. You are the secret. How you see yourself is how everyone else in the rest of the world's going to see you, right? I started to realize, people say you are really truly in control of your own destiny. You really are. You really truly are in control of your own destiny. You are the secret, right? The secret is you. Because people ask, yeah, what's the secret to success? It's you. It's yourself. It's believing in yourself. And it's keeping on pushing forward no matter what. It's about overcoming objections, hurdles, etc., right? And that really, really changed my life because that was before I started. It was right before I started the GNA. It's probably about a year or so, a year and a half before I started the GNA. And then, I basically saw NBC had a series called Breakthrough with Tony Robbins, where Tony Robbins was helping people that were struggling with many things, financially struggling, emotionally struggling, mentally struggling in their marriages, relationships, and Tony would put them through a program and change their lives. And NBC showed 4 episodes, and then the show got canceled, and the last 2 episodes that were made by NBC weren't even shown on NBC. They were shown on Hulu. I had to go to Hulu back then. Hulu was much different back then. It wasn't owned by Disney. It was owned by Hulu, actually. But anyway, I really, it really opened up my eyes because I remember the trash I would talk about Tony Robbins. I mean, I would just talk shit about him like he's a phony, he's a fraud, A lot of the same stuff I've heard, right? So I understand. I understand at times, when you get people saying, oh, yeah, the self-help industry, it's all phony, you're a fraud, whatever, right? I felt that way about Tony Robbins. As I got older and saw how it changed my life and turned my world around, then I was like, wow, man, this guy's incredible. I even went to see Tony Robbins in San Jose. And when I started the GNA and I was running events and I had to find new speakers all over Northern California every week, a Tony Robbins trainer came to one of my events here in the Bay Area. And I asked him, I said, are you doing any speaking at these events, any upcoming events? Yeah, we got Tony coming and we're promoting the event. We'd love to speak at all your events. Well, we could set up one event here in the Bay Area, one event in the Central Valley area and one event in the greater Sacramento area. So he promoted the event, and I ended up going to the event, and it was the best 4-day experience I ever had. I got a little discount. Even with the discount, it was still $600. But you got to understand, this is a 4-day, all-day event. Great loud music, great information. You get to walk on fire, and yes, I walked on coals, and that was okay. I survived. They call it the fire walk, right? They used to talk about that a lot on Oprah, and other famous stars that have been to a Tony Robbins event have walked on fire. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little freaked out to do it, but I said, "Fuck it." Those were the days where I started getting over my fears completely. Fire, and I survived. And as I drove home, because I went by myself, as I drove home, I was like, "Wow, I feel like a brand new man." And I mean, it may sound cliche, it may sound weird, but I said to myself, if I can walk on fire, I can fucking do anything. If I can walk on fire, I can do anything, right? And that's the whole point of the exercise, right? It's to get you over your fears, right? The people are thinking, why the fuck would Tony Robbins make people walk on coals? Because that's a big fear they have, and he wants them to get over their fears. No one else has ever thought of that. Now, of course, they do it safely. These are like they're long barbecue pits where you're walking across like maybe 5 or 6 steps. And they tell you to walk at the pace I'm walking. And right when you get to the end, they hose your feet down with cold water. And it was all good. I survived. Here I am, still walking today, right? And when did I go to this event? Oh, God. This was over 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. But I remember like it was yesterday. Yeah, so what are your fears? Whether you're here live or on the replay, even if you're watching this on the replay, what are your fears? Right? What are you struggling with? Let us know. And we'll get back to you. Don and I will get back to you as soon as possible, typically within 24 hours or less. Or we'll even do a full show on it, one of the walks, or maybe we'll do a podcast on it. I want to share a little bit more about, the podcast and all the content we do. The G&A, folks, is not about me or for me. Okay? The G&A is for you, folks. We created this for you. So, we want to address topics that you need help with, right? Now, if you come in here and say something stupid like, well, I need you to help me get over my craze for shit shows of drama on YouTube, then I'm going to say, well, we can't help you with that and let you go. Right? Because that's definitely trolling. I think even for people that are struggling with that, they can figure it out on their own. They have to figure it out on their own because no one can help anyone until they snap out of the rut that they're stuck in, right? You got to snap out of it, right? Before anyone can help you, right? I think that bass is gone. Oh no. Oh, it looks like Redwood City Police showed up. They called the police on the loud teenagers of base. Like, how fucking stupid are you, right? You come to the park, and literally right now, what is it? Is it 8? I think it's almost 8 o'clock, if not 8 o'clock, right? After 8 o'clock Pacific time, after 11 Eastern. Someone correct me. We're at 68 minutes. You blare your bass. I heard that bass literally like at least a quarter, almost a half mile away, and you have neighbors on the other side of the fence where you're blaring it. Literally, we have 3 cops out here right now. I think these kids were drinking, smoking weed. You know, even if you're under, smoking weed and smoking cigarettes now is 21 in most states, and some states, some states still haven't legalized weed at a state level, and it's still illegal federally. But the feds are letting the states handle weed. Oh, here's another way we could help the deficit is federally tax weed. But then that would increase the cost because the taxes on 420 right now on weed, between all the taxes, including sales tax and the other taxes and stuff, is about 25%. So what do? Do we put a 10% federal tax on it and increase the prices basically 10%? Would increase the price, by $1 for every current $10, right? $10 for every 100, right? Now, it probably would piss off people that use dispensaries all over the country within their state where it's legal, but I mean, I'll tell you honestly, that's why the states decided to legalize it. They're like, fuck, people are doing it, and it's not the biggest deal. It's actually even safer than smoking cigarettes. So why not sell it and then tax it? And have it bring more revenue into our city, state, etc., right? Why isn't Donald Trump thinking like that, right? Why isn't Donald Trump thinking like that? Couldn't tell you. Oh, maybe I could. One of the cops just left. They're making a right. I think they're going back to the station. The station's clear across town. The station's like 2 miles from here. We are on the final lap. Start getting your final questions, comments, and concerns in the chat. We're going to be going off the air probably in about 7 to 10 minutes. And another cop just came and went left instead of right. It's Friday night. And the crazies are out already. That's why it feels different tonight. The crazies are out. I guess you can include me in that, right? It's all good. It's all good. I'll tell you. Today, I just feel so relaxed today. I'm just so relaxed, after, the last couple of weeks with the content that, I was creating and other things going on. And then today it just really just kind of like settled down and calmed down. And it's been such a relaxing day. This has been a very relaxing walk. And the weather's cooperating too. It's just a beautiful night. It's probably still about 58, 57 degrees. I saw the forecast. It's not going to start to dip into the low 50s until like later on, like 10, 11 o'clock. So I was like, had some other things to do around the house and stuff, like I said earlier, and I'll still go walk. It's still going to be nice. Just have to deal with the crazies, right? In life, you're always going to be dealing with crazies. You just got to learn to push them off to the side, right? Push them up to the side. That's all you got to do. I'm waiting for some people to... Some dude, I guess, is parking his car at the park and walking across the street with some stereo equipment. I was like, you park your car there? Oh, yeah, there's no parking on the side there. Maybe, I think the driveway's full. Like, living on one of these streets here, there's no parking on the side. It's all red. There's just not enough space. So it's either driveway or you gotta go down another side street or park at the park. And the park, there have never been any enforcement issues, and there's plenty of parking, so I don't think they really care having residents park there at times. Not a big deal. But yeah, hope you enjoyed me sharing my stories on, what I really love to do the most is helping people and helping people overcome objections, helping people that are struggling in any capacity, overturn their lives for the better, right? Helping people learn to become stronger, toughen up that skin, and don't let this world full of crazies get in the way of who you are and what you were meant to create in this world. Go home and spend some time with Dawn and just chill and relax and just finally sit down and decompress after a long yet very productive day, yet very satisfying day. Let me see here. The biggest lesson that I've learned in life, I've said it before and I'll say it again, or one of the biggest lessons, because I've learned a lot. It's the fact that in life, you only get back what you put out. What you put out, you get back. So when you're, younger, and as you get older, you're building your future, right? You want to keep that in mind. What you put out, you get back. And that also includes the way you treat people. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Be good to people, right? Think about what you do and what you say and how it affects people. I've always done that, with the exception of when you encounter some crazies in life. Sometimes you give them a piece of your mind and then you just move on with your day, right? And you know what? That can be understood because, you know, some crazies in life are very persistent. And sometimes there are certain things in life you just can't ignore. Sometimes you've got to tackle those things head on. If you live by the rule of what you put out, you get back. And what you're putting out is positivity. What you're putting out is standing up for people that are less than fortunate, standing up for people that are being bullied and harassed. Standing up for people that are being taken advantage of in any way, shape, or form. That's the kind of person I am and have always been. And that's where I'm going to wrap up this show here today at 77 minutes an hour and 17 minutes. Hope you all enjoyed the show today. I'll be back tomorrow for another walk at some point, hopefully earlier, hopefully from a different location, maybe the trail, maybe a different part of the trail. But we're at 978 right now. We've got 22 more episodes until the milestone, episode number 1000. That's going to be a hell of an episode. And yes, that'll be from a special location. That'll probably also include Dawn. It's going to be a great, great, great show. Love you all. With that being said, thank you again to Sig Dingo, I believe, for the 2 super chats. $6.99, I believe it's $6.99 Canadian, which is $6.99 times 2 Canadian, which is $9.84 American. So we're looking at what? $14, the exchange rate. Man, the dollar just really sucks right now. I believe that's CAs for Canada. All right, folks. Have a good one. Take care, and as always, be good to each other. See you all tomorrow. Good night, everyone.